What's going on, guys, and welcome back. We got our November balance patch hitting us on Halloween, hence the Spider-Man costume. Tried the mask on, couldn't breathe, didn't work, so this is what we get. Let's waste no time and tell you everything you need to know on how Marvel Snap is going to change massively moving forward. We've got a death of a huge top-tier card, giant buffs coming to cards that were terrible, and top it off with a couple ability changes that's going to dramatically shift the best decks in the game. Now let's go ahead and start in the month of September, guys. We have 3 cards from that month getting some type of an adjustment today, and you combine that with Loki, and that's every card from the month of September getting a balance change. We got to start off with Mobius and Mobius. Owen Wilson single-handedly destroyed cards, killed decks of cost reduction. She-Hulk no more. Death Swarm. These cards became way worse in Marvel Snap just because of 1/2 cost card. And well, guys, his reign is over. They're completely nuking Mobius and Mobius, taking him from the 2/3 ongoing ability of not being able to increase your own card cost, and the opponent cannot decrease theirs, to an on reveal effect. No stat change, just on reveal from ongoings. This is a colossal change. They're making it to where this effect, you only had to do 2 cost, 2 energy to have an ongoing effect. The whole rest of the match, there was no energy cheating of any kind. To now a one-time shot. You get 1 time to guess when your opponent is going to want to take advantage of potentially Zabu, Sarah, whatever it might be. Clearly making him best probably played on turn 5. Now, why is he getting such a huge nerf? Well, I'm kind of surprised it's happening this early. But guys, he had a 20% meta share and a 55% win rate. That means 1 in 5 matches had the potential for your favorite energy decks to be rendered useless. So outside of kind of maybe Dream Dimension or, potentially they have a Sarah deck. Obviously, again, going into turn 6, that is where the use is going to come from. But again, just dramatic difference. So never mind him. What cards is this going to just skyrocket back into viability and popularity? I mean, first and foremost, we got to talk about Loki. He just got an adjustment himself, but he's going to do what he does extremely well. There's going to be almost no way to know when they are going to be playing Loki, and it's going to be too late for you to play your Mobius. So this is going to be dramatic for Loki and his viability. Guys, Death is back on the menu for Destroy, which, is just already crazy with how good Destroy is. She-Hulk is going to make her return back to the meta. We can see those Power Slam decks come back into the limelight. Swarm can be played safely. Zabu, Sarah, we're kind of already peeking through the door, but I think this is a massive change to those cards because we're not done today talking about cost reduction changes. Either way, this will be our biggest adjustment in the meta, but just strap down. We're just getting started. Let's talk about Mobius's counterpart, Ravonna Renslayer. Mobius's counterpart is also getting a giant change. A card that can only be described as, well, like a massive disappointment. Dead on arrival, guys. We just looked at Mobius's numbers. Let's compare those to Ravonna. She had a 0.5% popularity in comparison to the 20%. And again, was virtually rendered useless. Well, they made the exact change I was hoping for coming to light. And guys, they're taking her from a 3/3 down to a 2 cost. She's about to become much more lethal, not just because of Mobius's change, but now she'll work a lot like Zabu, giving you an additional turn to capitalize on her power energy reducing effect. I can't tell you how a simple cost change is going to dramatically shift how we play Ravonna. A lot of the decks that she was in, she was simply being played way too late. I mean, if you looked at the same thing with Zabu, he would not be near as good either. And now we have an extra turn to take advantage of these cards, and it becomes a whole lot better. Obviously, Mr. Negative is going to work now, curve out nicely. But any of these cards you can now capitalize on turn 3 and 4, 5, and 6 rather than the turn 3 play. This is going to be very nice when it comes to curve, because this is how 2 cost cards typically work to help your later game, and I could not be more excited to give some of these decks a nice test pilot. We know she's good with Iron Man, with On Reveal, with Patriot. Surely, guys, we'll be cooking up some decks, but if you guys want to go ahead and pilot a deck day 1, this will be the Ravonna Renslayer deck that I'll be giving out a shot. But I can assure you guys, after some Werewolf by Night, who also comes out tonight, I'll be testing Ravonna like crazy. And then lastly, guys, I did say 3 September cards got changed. This is not a big one. It's almost not worth mentioning, but I'll just say it. Armor, Cosmo, great ways to counter Alioth But previously, if you try to play Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, and it went to their side, Alioth would destroy it, and he does clearly just say enemy cards. So when you play Hobgoblin, you now have technically another counter to an Alioth lane. It will not destroy the goblins. It will simply destroy anything on your side, not the person obviously playing Alioth. So small change, doesn't affect a ton, but it's good to know. Now, speaking of cards that destroy opponents' cards, we've got one that has been terrible for months and months. It's a card that I've played a little bit, and there was really no true way to make her stand out. Outside of like some null synergy, Negasonic Teenage Warhead is getting her second change. They took her up to a 5 power card. They're now taking her down to a 2 power card. And guys, listen closely. She used to destroy your card or the opponent's, whichever card was played there next, she destroyed. And now, coming at less power, she will only destroy opponent's cards. Man, oh man, they did this card perfectly. Alioth just completely did her job better. She was so awkward, never had play. You know, maybe you could get a Bucky Barnes kill in. It was terrible. Now, guys, Negasonic is going to be perfect as a line of defense, protecting lanes, and you know that you can play into it. But whatever your opponent plays, if it's a big card, it will die. Now, do keep in mind, if a card has an on-reveal ability like Shang-Chi, it would destroy your, Magneto, and then Negasonic would destroy the Shang-Chi. So it doesn't protect you like Alioth does. Professor X can still stop it. There's some certain counters, but it's certainly great that you can focus on a lane, set her up to defend another, and she's going to have a new role. You can play her offensively, defensively. I love Negasonic. Excited to test her out as well. I mean, they're on absolute fire with this week. Let's go ahead and go through a couple more quick ones that aren't as big of a deal. Ant-Man now is going to have the same effect as Mojo Dazzler. If you play him on Space Throne, he'll get his plus power. It's when a location is full, and you don't have to have 4 cards every time. So very small. And the other change is Sandman is gaining +1 power. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would they make Sandman a little bit better? I'm confused. What's happening? Well, guys, it's because we got the biggest change of today in Wave. Wave is seeing her 3rd dramatic balance change, and it's a big one. No longer, guys, will Wave increase any cards cost. Your 1, 2, 3 cost cards will not go up to 4. Your 6 and your 5 cost cards will go down to 4. And gone are the days of Wave as a tech control card. She's now strictly a ramp card, obviously a lot worse off, and it gives your opponent the chance to play their most powerful cards as well. This is a big one. They're going to be giving her 5 power to compensate. Where to even begin with the Wave and the cost reduction change? Between this and Mobius, guys, Sarah is not just back on the menu, she's like the main course. I can't believe 2 massive buffs to this card. Her biggest tech counters are literally dead in the same patch, and not having Wave as this control option, they were done with that, which, I can understand. It does make sense, but it just changes things massively. Now, on the plus side, she has 5 power, and you can do a couple cool, 6 cost card combos. You could play Alioth plus a 2-drop. You could play Magneto and Kraven. You can do, MODOK and Morbius. Maybe, Master Mold and Ronin. A couple off the top of my head. So you can do some cheeky combos, but no one's going to do that. It's mainly just a ramp card now, and it's a big change at that. So cost reduction cards, they're back better than ever and probably going to be pretty strong in the new meta. Loki, Sarah, you can expect to see them. I do think we have other decks that will rise up to meet them in power now. We have a lot of healthy decks, but these were some massive changes, and Wave is going to change just meta decks. The Mobius change is going to change some of the top decks in the game as well. So we've got a lot cooking, all on top of Werewolf by Night dropping today. We have Miss Marvel, the new season pass card, coming out next week. It's going to be nuts, and this is obviously going to be a whole lot of crazy. Now, I had to Clark Kent myself. I got out of the Spider-Man outfit because I had to go do something, back to filming now. Wanted to close the video with my thoughts overall on the patch. On one side of things, I do want to say I think this is going to be good for Marvel Snap in the long run. I think it's going to have a lot more decks competitively. And overall, I do like the changes. But what I do not like whatsoever is with these fast changes and how the spotlights work, this makes it very hard for free-to-play and or people to be precise with how they spend their spotlight caches because of these changes. Now, I think I'm probably going to make a video on it. I think there's plenty of good free-to-play decks, and if you commit yourself to, Shuri, you're good to go. What I don't like, though, is for somebody, 20% popularity, pretty much everybody got Mobius. Now he's pretty bad. Elsa's fine because she's a good card. Could be released as how she is now. Still fine, right? But you've got now a couple of cards that are starting to get tuned a lot quicker. And this can be somewhat problematic, especially when it comes to Mobius, when it's kind of this severe, just a few weeks out from getting him on a spotlight. And we have like repeating spotlights. So sometimes you just did the spotlights just for one card, albeit he is a Series 4 card. But besides the point, I think you guys get what I'm saying. I love the changes. I do like when they're, fast to act on a meta that maybe things are getting out of hand. But I don't love to see that, people that like to plan out are somewhat getting screwed. Overall, I think that the spotlight system needs to be fixed going into January. Just making sure things are buttoned up. But the best thing Snap has going for it is always being fresh with the meta. If you leave, you come back, it's fine because the meta is probably going to change. And I love that about the game. Anyway, guys, I will be testing every single card and deck, Ravonna to Werewolf on stream. Maybe even right now, if not now, like an hour from now. So I'll see you guys live on Twitch. You can find me down in the link below, and I'll put it in the description. And also, if you guys haven't yet to subscribe, go ahead and do that as well as we climb up in the 100,000 plus subs here for the Cozy Crew. I think that's what we're calling ourselves. Anyway, guys, happy Halloween. Have a safe one. Have a good one. And until the next one, happy snapping.